This podcast is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. It is unquestionably good. I love Bud Light
I
Seltzer.
know you do. You
I really
bastard.
do. Bill, my favorite thing is to get one of those tall glasses, fill it with ice, and pour two of two flavors and do a suicide.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's time for another wonderful episode of the Bill
Bert
Podcast. There we go.
With both your hosts quarantining.
Because both of them did shows because everybody else is back to work. So why shouldn't we be?
Why shouldn't we? And I will say, because this will be glazed over, I am very happy with the last tour I did. It was a blast. However, Bill Burr, you texted me and you said, can you do Wednesday? I said, why? Yeah, I can do Wednesday. I'm in quarantine. I'm in the hotel room. And you're like, because I'm at Chappelle's house. And I lost my shit. I want to know.
I wasn't at his house. I was doing the Chappelle gig. I like your version better.
Yeah.
I was at a hotel.
I want to know, Bill, I want to know everything beginning to end. This is the one clip that will go viral from our video because this is the most elusive ticket to get in comedy right now. This is the most elusive gig. It has the biggest names in comedy. The who's who: Jon Stewart, David Letterman, Sarah Silverman, Louis C.K., Tony Woods, Donnell Rollins, Dave Chappelle.
Brian Regan.
And well, who?
Brian Regan was there the day I got there. Kevin Hart was there one day.
All right. So start it from the very beginning. You get it. When was the first time Chappelle reached out and said, hey, are you interested in coming out?
His people reached out a couple weeks ago, maybe beginning of August, see if I wanted to do it. And then I said, yeah. And then I didn't hear from them. And then I did. And I was like, well, I haven't done my act in 6 months or whatever, 5 months. So I'm not going to go out there ice cold, and bomb in front of Dave. I'm not going to do that to him or to myself. So I did those parking lot shows.
I was wondering, Bill, I was wondering when you said you went out, because I know out of everyone I know in comedy, you're probably one of the more strict with the social distancing, the quarantining, and the masks. When you went out and did shows, I was like, he's getting ready for something. Like he's not just doing it.
Yeah, you know what's funny is, as far as that quarantine, I ran into this guy when I was in Yellow Springs, and we just, long story what had happened, but we were talking about wearing masks. And, and I was just saying, listen, I just want to get a guy, I don't care who gets elected, I just want somebody who believes in science. And he goes, well, I can show you just as many scientific reports that say wearing a mask is blah, 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 blah. And I wish I had the presence of mind to be like, all right, well, let's play out two scenarios. Let's play out the scenario where I'm wrong. Then we're just a bunch of idiots wearing masks. Let's play out the scenario where you're wrong. So the gamble that you're taking, because he may be right, but it's just like, it seems every time someone goes to a fucking party, there's a bunch of people, nobody's wearing masks, then all of a sudden there's a little outbreak. So I just am so fucking I'm past depression. I'm just mind blown that people would turn a virus into to this level. Because there's always been conspiracy theories. AIDS came from the government. The common cold is curable. They got the cure for baldness. They just want to fucking blah. And I believe in some of those. But and I also believe I definitely believe in that they can cure baldness. Without a fucking doubt, they can do it. Without a fucking doubt, they can do it. But if they do it, then people are fucked. So here's the thing. If you want them to cure baldness, every guy going bald should just shave their fucking head. And then they're like, oh, fuck, they're dealing with it. We got to give them a solution. And I'm telling you, dude, we be coming in like the fucking Bee Gees next year. Big poofed up hair, beards with the medallions.
Oh.
So I just cannot fucking believe. No, I can't say I can't believe, because I've done a bunch of ignorant shit too. But I've just really discovered that how, people's world and people's experience is what's going on in the entire solar system. That's how people look at life. And it's really hard, myself included, to get outside your own planet, especially when your head's shaped like one like mine, to get outside of that and be like, okay, maybe there's something bigger going on here. Maybe I don't know. But I am definitely optimistic. I loved that article in the New York Times that Jerry Seinfeld wrote. It's literally what is missing on both sides of the aisle politically. That was leadership. That was positivity. I was sitting up straighter by the time I got done reading it. Like, fuck, basically, fuck this. We've gone through tougher shit like this. We're going to defeat this. I have not heard that anywhere. CNN, Fox, nowhere. It's just, and then they're just blaming it each other. That's going to be a great meme, by the way. They fucking, whatever the fuck you call them, a GIF. That's what is fucking missing. I need leadership. I need shit talk. And I need people to get outside their own heads. Because I just said to the guy, after he said what he said, I said, hey, man, agree to disagree. It was a fucking beautiful day. I was doing one of my favorite things to do on the road, which is laundry. I fucking hate coming home with dirty underwear and socks and cigar-smelling shirts. My favorite fucking thing. Dude, I'll go down there, sweatpants, total nature boy. Just sweatpants, no socks. Everything's fucking getting washed. And I had one of those little nubs, the Connecticut wrap. I smoked one of those. I went off the rails this month. Smoked one of those.
Oh, shut up. Hold on. Where are you? Let's get back to this Chappelle story. Because I could talk I did laundry. I'm in. Can
I tell my laundry story real quick, though?
Yeah, please.
I went in there. So Yellow Springs. Thinking Yogi Bear. Yellow Spring, is like, I guess, super liberal. It's sort of like what Austin thinks they are. All these little fucking white towns that think that they're like perfect. It's like, no, it's just you've dialed down racism, homophobia, and all that type of shit, nationalism, but it all flares up depending on the thing. It was funny too, because I walked through this place the first night and I could tell how liberal it was. I saw all the tie-dyes and then how aggressively they were going out of their way to say hello to my wife.
Oh, did Nia go with you?
Oh yeah, I brought the whole family.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So, but they were all great. They were all fun, but it was just funny, It's like, hi, hello, person of color. It was hilarious.
Is he bothering you? Is he bothering you? Is he following you around the store?
Yeah. But anyway, so I went.
Okay, hold on. Then I'm going to stop you there. I've been so fascinated by this because what he's doing is so amazing. So I'm going to ask you questions. You don't have to answer anything, but I'm asking you questions that I know everyone's wondering. So you and Kevin Hart.
I have to keep a lot of it a surprise. So
I know. Oh, no. Don't worry. You and Kevin Hart flew private together. Is that what happened?
No.
Ah, damn it. I figured Kevin Hart was like, hey, Bill, I'm going out there. You want to hop on? And you were like, yeah, because I can't see you and the baby getting
Kevin Hart has worked too hard to build his brand to be seen sharing a private jet with Bill Burr. I mean, come on. How long have you been in this business?
There's no way you guys flew coach.
All right. Listen, do you want to hear the funny fucking story or you want to get into the fucking logistics of travel?
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
So I'm in this laundromat. And, of course, any level of technology, from a fucking laptop to a new operating system to literally getting quarters at a laundromat. It was working, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and I'm looking around. In typical business today, it's just being run by the people who are fucking using the service. So I saw this older couple, about my age, and then I saw this younger woman, like 20, 21. So the older couple's here, she's over here. So I go, all right. So I went over there and I said, excuse me, do you know if somebody works here? And I swear to God, she just went like, and just walked away. I swear to God. Walked away and then walked over to the older couple. And then the mother goes, what did that man just say to you? Then I realized this is their kid. She goes, he just asked me if I work here, right? And I go, no, I didn't. I said, does somebody work here? And they didn't say anything. This fucking little asshole, it's like you're 21 years old. Like, why are you acting like you're the fucking Queen of England? Why, like in this liberal-ass town, like, I'm so fucking liberal, like, but then it's like, how dare you suggest that I would stoop to working at a laundromat at 20 years of age? Dude, I swear to God, she just went like, and just, it didn't say a fucking word. It was so fucking rude. It was so fucking rude. Like, I'm full of shit. I didn't almost say something because she was with the kids, and all of a sudden I'm this creepy guy at the laundromat who said something that not only upset a woman, a white woman, Bert. All I need is one tweet, and then I'm done.
I keep forgetting because I talk to you so much that I start getting it in my bee in my bonnet about white women because all Leanne's friends are older, privileged white women, and I end up saying stuff like that as if I'm married to a black woman, and Leanne will be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, I'm not saying that because of Nia.
No, I know, but you also.
And I'm not saying I'm not privileged. My bit is that white women walked away from their whiteness and swung their legs over the fence of oppression. And stuck themselves at the front of the fucking line and left us holding the dirty dishwater. It's like, wait a minute. We were Batman and you were Robin. Get the fuck back in the fucking oppress-mobile and take your talking to. You fucking manipulative cunts. That's my shit. That's my beef. And it's not with all of them. Dude, I could go on. I'm like, you know what's pissing me off right now? White women calling other white women Karen. They took the fucking word, and now when you call now if you're a white woman, you call another white woman a Karen. It's you're patting yourself on the back that you're not. It's like no, you guys all have that.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, like every white guy has a little plantation owner in him. It's just part of your life experience, part of the way you're fucking moving around. You show up, you think it's for you, and you assume someone who looks like you is running it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a little fucking dash of that in them all the way to a Klan meeting. And it's just, and that is the truth. So
yeah.
anyway.
I called a white woman Karen in Cape Cod, and I've never said a sentence that hurt someone quicker, faster, more poignantly. I was riding a bike down the sidewalk, and apparently you're supposed to be on the road, but there's no fucking shoulder on the road. So I'm on the sidewalk, and they're walking, and this woman, as opposed to simply just get out of the way, throws a temper tantrum in the middle of the sidewalk. Like, oh my God. And I just rode right past her, and I go, "Suck it, Karen." And she went, "What the fuck?" And I loved it.
But Bert, that's not our word. That's what I hate about woke and Karen. That's black people's word.
Yeah.
Like woke was what something a black person said when they observed white behavior that was just, I guess, a little bit better than the usual shit. And then you had all these liberal fucking white dudes start going, I'm on the internet, woke signaling.
Yeah.
And they fucking took it.
Hey,
and then I'm watching white women now. They're taking Karen, calling other women Karens. It's like, this isn't, like, you're not the judge on this one. But it's a way of wrangling control of this new experience of, wait a minute, I'm being criticized?
So I don't know. Back to Chappelle.
It drives me up the fucking wall because now it's already happened. So I know inevitably I'm going to have to listen to fucking Spike Lee bitch about it, who drives me up the wall. He drives me up the wall with his concern about the images of black people in movies. It's like, dude, have you ever looked at your depiction of an Italian-American males in your fucking movies? Why don't you fix that? Thank God you don't run a fucking studio. Hey, fucking Maria, I got the fucking linguine. Played by a Puerto Rican. I mean, he's doing the exact fucking same thing.
Played by a Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it's just like, no, and that has been my shit. My shit, I used to be conservative, then I was super liberal. Now I'm in the middle. I'm like, no, we're all the fucking same. And it just all depends on who's driving the bus, who's going to get it.
Yeah.
All right, and when it comes to power, nice people are not attracted to power. Nice people don't want to tell people what to do. Psychos like telling people what to do. They are attracted to that light, and they go to that shit. So what ends up happening is nice people work for psychos is what happens. And then psychos stay in power by killing loud, nice people. That's essentially it across the fucking globe. I figured it out with no reading whatsoever.
So you get the invite to go to Chappelle's.
Yes.
And you say, all right, I'm going to do some warm-up spots. You run it by Nia. You're like, I want to bring the family. And she's like, I think it would be great.
Yeah, we were looking to get out of here. We were trying to just, needed to, as much as LA is like this giant suburb, it's still pretty much paved over and there's not a lot of space. And you just kind of needed to see some trees and some grass. So we looked at our options for renting things, and everybody's price gouging, which of course none of them get shit. The fucking hand sanitizer guy gets fucking tarred and feathered at the beginning of this, but fucking assholes with a piece of shit 2-bedroom near an ocean can charge like half a price for a Prius out here near Santa Barbara. It's fucking ridiculous. So that didn't work out. So, they said, you want to come out and do the weekend, the Friday, Saturday? He said, great. And it was Dave's birthday weekend, so we stayed a little bit longer. So, then my wife got involved. So then, once they get involved, it becomes an excursion.
Yeah.
So now we're coming in, we came in on a Wednesday.
First trip of the baby. The baby's what, like 4 months?
2.5 months. Yeah, flying with a baby's great. It's when they get a little bit older and they're aware of their eardrums popping, then it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
But
so Dave flies you out private, and then
you so want to know if I flew commercial or private. You just did. I felt like you thought I committed a murder. And you just went like, yeah, so you killed her. And then what did you do with afterwards? Did you watch TV? And you were waiting for me to just be like, yeah, so I killed her. Dude.
All you see are these pictures of Chappelle greeting everyone out of a private jet with like fucking SUVs everywhere. And he's wearing like knee-high like.
Let me ask you this, Bert.
Shoot.
Is the whole world obsessed with this gig, or are you obsessed with it?
I'm obsessed with the gig. I think it's the coolest thing. I think it's the coolest fucking thing in the world. What he's doing and what he's creating, because it's like Dave Chappelle's Block Party was such a great out of the box fucking show that was like I've watched that probably 20 times. But he's bringing out artists of all kind, like photographers, chefs, artists. Donnell's living out there, and I'm following Donnell, and it just seems Erykah Badu, Common, Tiffany Haddish. It seems so fucking cool. And a melting pot of like.
I have to tell you, man, it was the most fun. It felt like a mini comedy festival, and I had so many like huge laughs. Like I've known Kev since he first came on up from Philly. He was like 20 years old. Keith Robinson brought him up or something, and he's just one of those guys, man. Like he's one of the most fun people I've ever been around. He's so fucking silly. And we had a couple of like just fucking great, like laughing so hard people are looking at us type of shit. We had a couple of those, and it really and then another thing was everybody's phone is locked, and I got to enjoy what stand-up used to be. Like I can go up here and empty my brain. I can hear all those other comics laughing and use that to push me further. And I can be free up here. Yeah. And it's something that, I'm trying to talk carefully on this, about this, but there's certain people now that I'm watching that helped feed that monster of cancel culture, and now it's out of control, and now they're complaining like they weren't one of the Dr. Frankenstein screwing in a couple of those bolts. And I can tell you without a doubt that they are this loud, unbelievably small minority. And this thing is going to fucking nosedive the way disco did, the way hair metal did, the way I always say rollerblades, all of that shit. It's going to fucking nosedive. And then everybody's going to walk away, like how everybody acted like they weren't doing coke at Studio 54, even though that place was fucking packed every weekend. Every guy's acting like they didn't put on eyeliner and tease up their hair, go be in a band in the 80s. They're going to walk away like, it's just funny to me Because it's literally gotten to now when I'm seeing female comics talking about cancel culture, and I'm trying to think, it's just like, I think you're good. Because I'm trying to think, like, Michelle Wolf was the one who really got in trouble, but she did the political thing at the fucking White House dinner. So I kind of feel like now the rite of passage is if you do that gig, you're getting death threats and I'm going to do this and all of that shit, which is, I mean, the balls it takes to do that gig. Like, I got nothing but respect for her for taking that gig, because that is a thankless fucking gig. Yeah. It's either you kill and get death threats, or you bomb and get death threats.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you guys get there, you go into the hotel, and then
no. We go there, and you got tested right before you left, and then LA. You land, you get tested again.
And then I just read an article. Today.
They had a whole system.
Spending like $100,000 on COVID tests.
Yeah, those things aren't cheap. And that's going to be the turnaround, by the way, of this COVID shit. COVID tests are that expensive right now, the way flat screen TVs used to be. And now you can get a flat screen TV for like $700. And when the price of testing comes down, when these greedy cunts are done and they realize how much money that they can make off of, Joe Six-Pack, as they always say, the price of it's going to come down. And I think, like, if they don't come up with some sort of, like, cocktail to fend this thing off, I think eventually you're going to go to house parties and people will have COVID tests there, like the way they have like a selfie fucking booth.
Yeah.
And then everybody can go in and just be people. They'll be able to do it at places of business. You'll be able to do it outside of a comedy club. And it's just like, as much as the bankers are evil, they want you to continue living so they can continue to oppress you. So they need you to go back to work at some point. Yeah. So the problem is right now is we have a staggering lack of leadership. And like what Seinfeld wrote took me back to what politicians used to do. They give you that Newt Rockney speech, whether they believed it or not. It made you feel better. We're going to fucking beat this thing. This isn't the new normal. This is something that you're going to tell your grandkids about that you fucking lived through. But we're going to beat this fucking thing because that's what we do. That's what we do. We've survived everything up until this point. This fucking thing, the level that it's killing people is really, at least around where I'm at, is really tapered off. And we're going to beat it. We just are. But the thing about it is you need people in powerful positions telling you that. It's just like you're coaching a fucking team, and the disappointment with both of these stupid ass parties. He started it and she did this and then. They're acting like a bunch of fucking pussies.
Yeah.
Like they never started those fireside chats that Winston Churchill speak. We'll fight in the land. We'll fight in the sea. We shall never surrender. I used to listen to it on the beginning of Iron Maiden album. I forget what it was. It was right before Aces High, Power Slave. And I didn't even know that it was pertaining to the Germans in the Blitzkrieg. And I used to listen to that, and the fucking hair on my arm would stand up. I had no idea who it was, because it wasn't like, there was no internet in 85, unless you were Al Gore. There was no internet, right? There was no internet, so I couldn't look up what that speech was, who said it. It wasn't until, like 15 years later, I just happened to be watching something on like PBS, and they did this thing on Winston Churchill, and I heard that, and I was like, oh my God, that's fucking Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
There's another great English show too, where they took that, I forget the name of it, but they took that beginning, we want information. Information. Who are you? The new number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6. You don't remember that?
No, what's that?
I am not a number. I am a free man. And that crazy cackle. That was in English, like really trippy, like sort of like Westworld meets like a fucking James Bond in the future. I'm just, building it off the trailer, but like nowadays you can find all of that shit. So I'm totally off track. I'm saying I need some Winston Churchill speeches. Everybody does. We need to hear people saying we're going to beat this fucking thing. We need to
there's a lot of people saying the opposite of saying it's over. LA's over. I just saw Hollywood's dead. Everyone moved. Get the fuck out. And you're right. I literally was like, I literally said to someone the other day, just so you know, I can claim being a Lakers fan when everyone flees Hollywood because I'm staying. I'm getting a fucking Lakers jersey. I'm watching KCal 9. I'm going to be a Dodgers fan. I'm leaning in heavy to LA.
I know. And this is the thing. It's like, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? I mean, if you're leaving the country, okay, if you're going to go up to Canada where, you know, they have a lot less cases, they also have a lot less people, you know? And they also, I think, took it a little more, I don't think they have, I don't know what their Hatfield and McCoy, there's always that in every country. I don't know where the burners turned up to. Out here, it feels like it's on 8. Always. Yeah. And we're not helping each other.
So let's get back to the Chappelle. What day did you get there? Thursday?
I forget, dude. It was a blur. I was there all week. Well, Wednesday I got there because I went down, I got tested, went back to the hotel. And the smartest thing I did is I went down there because Regan's last night. And I'm just like a Regan fanatic. I had to watch his set, and he was just like, I can't tell you any of the
best. Dude, you know, I got to be honest with you. Brian
and Regan, as great as his act is, he's an even better person. He's just the nicest guy. He literally is like how you should be. I feel. I can't say enough nice things about that guy. So
Brian Regan said, I have 2 really my favorite Brian Regan stories. I got a call from Pete Corielli. I'm in Des Moines, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you at the club?" I said, "I am." He goes, "All right, get everyone out except for the staff. I'm going to be there in like 30 minutes." And I went, "Okay." So I tell the fans, I was like, "Everyone needs to leave. We're going to close this down." And I tell Alicia, "Keep it open." Brian Regan's tour bus comes out. He comes out, and he's just the nicest fucking guy. He goes, "Hi, I'm Brian." And I'm like, I go, "Hey, I know who you are." I go, "Listen, I'm going to have to geek out for about 3 minutes, and then we can hang out like regular people." And he's like, "All right, go ahead." I said, "I'm driving over Little Canyon, and my daughters are listening to your Brian Regan came up on XM, and my daughters are laughing in the back." And my wife goes, "Oh, my God, this is the first time they've heard comedy. Like, they've never heard comedy. And they're howling at Brian's joke." And so my wife turns around, she goes, "Do you like this?" And they're like, "Oh, this is great. What is this?" And my wife goes, "This is what Daddy does." And they shifted, and they go, "You do this?" And I was like, "Not that good, guys. Not that good. My shirt's off. It's a lot about my dick. It's not that good. And by the way, I talk shit about you guys." But I said that was like the greatest moment. And Brian's like, "Hey, thank you." And then he just looks at me and goes, "Can we start drinking now?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, fuck yeah." Brian is the greatest, man. He really is the greatest. So you go to see Brian, and Brian's been there for a few days.
Oh, wait, I go down there, and then it's like a free-for-all. Then they just ended up putting me on. And like, I'm going to forget all the names of the people. Dude, there was like rappers would go on, poets. It was crazy. Musicians. It just was. I mean, I never heard of this guy. I hope I say his name. Toby in Wigway. I think it's how you say it. And dude, he went up there, and the fucking DJ like played like this epic cinematic shit that he fucking rapped over. And I have never been so happy that I was not going on, like I had already gone on. I mean, yeah, we're out in the middle of a fucking cornfield and fucking slayed. So then, of course, I got to go look this guy up. And I look him up, and then he's got this amazing video, which we should really post.
I want to see it.
That his wife is in. They're like this total power couple, man. They're both like ridiculously talented, made this incredible video. You know, not like I know what's going on in the hip hop world there, Bert. I'm a little too white.
How would you spell in Wigway?
It's like I think it was NW. Maybe this is how I remember how to spell it. It's like NG.
Got it, Toby and Wigway.
Yeah.
NWIGWE.
Yeah.
Is this him?
That is him, and that's his wife. They're both like A-level performers. Like they're gonna be, they're gonna be they're gonna be a force. And I got to see them in front of I only got to see him. She didn't go on, at least the night that I was there. But it was they were incredible and super nice people, and it was just everybody just sort of quarantined together. and it just became like, like a summer camp.
So you guys go in, set the setting for me. You're in a field, and there's a stage that looks like kind of like a gazebo with the sea on it, correct?
Yep.
And then tables are socially distant, 10 feet apart, and there's
Yeah, and
about
they just sort
100.
of disappear out into the field. Dude, there was like so much funny things. Like one night I was like just doing this crazy shit because I could, because the phones were all off, and I got nothing. And I said, I go, not only did that joke get crickets, I can literally hear crickets. Like, because it was so fucking loud. It was like the first, I've used that analogy forever. And it literally, I told a joke, it got nothing, and all I heard was the crickets in the field. So I felt like that was some like full circle journey. All these
I had a
years
reference. I had a reference like that, but I didn't get crickets. I got cicadas.
What is cicada? Some sort of bug?
It's if you got to live in the South, yeah, it's a bug.
Oh,
that
okay.
it's like it's a very aggressive cricket.
Oh, okay.
So wait, it disappears into the distance, and there's what, like 150 people there?
No, there was, I don't quite know how many were there, and I'm not going to speculate on a number because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but they were really, there was a lot of rules.
Really?
Like a governor or somebody was called to work this out. And dude, they have it down to a science. Like there was no, it was like, like President Trump could have came in and would have been felt secure. Like that's the level, like a president could literally come in there.
That's great. And as far as laughs, you could definitely hear laughs, obviously.
Yeah, but you know what was great was because I did people in cars.
Mm-hmm.
I went from what I used to hear, the Comedy Store sold out, to dealing with cars, and then I went back up to where, it's still never going to sound, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
If you combine how much you could hear the laughs with the experience, it was actually better than a theater gig. It was just better because it was so special. And the people that you got to hang out with, all of these friends, that I haven't seen, some of them in over a year because we've been sitting inside for so long. And then just the freedom of it. And then Dave was like hosting, and he was just I can't say how gracious him and his wife were and how complimentary he was about what everybody was doing. And, he's a really like special dude beyond, I've hung out with Dave in like, comedy clubs and stuff, but I never got to hang with him like that, just hang out. And he's telling me about, how he ended up there, his motorcycles and just shooting, talking about life, raising kids. And he's amazing with kids, by the way. He's fucking amazing with kids. It was awesome. Donnell is too. Donnell's amazing.
Yeah, I know Donnell is.
Yeah.
Donnell's a fucking I love Donnell. I think there's a part of him that had such a shitty childhood where he's like, that shit's not happening on my watch. Like, I'm not the dad leaving a kid on a stoop.
There's a lot of comics like that. Bobby Kelly.
Yeah,
Bobby Kelly had a rough go on the dad side, so he was just like Bobby's done more with his son in these first few years than I think probably happened to. I know it.
That happened in his
stories
whole life.
He's told me that it happened to him his entire, probably the first 30 years of his life. Throw a couple of relationships in there.
Rogan is a fucking amazing dad. Didn't know his dad. Amazing dad. Like, I would say,
I think you go one way that Nikki Sixx, like I follow him on Instagram, huge fan of him and his band and everything. I now follow him on Instagram because I'm enjoy watching him be a father yet again. Like he's had kids the whole way through, and he said something really amazing one time about how because he didn't have a dad, I think you just go one way or the other. You either repeat or you just go the other way. And fortunately, he did. And like following people like that on Instagram is good because the day-to-day grind. It's good to see somebody reminding you of like it's going to go by quick. Make sure.
Don't. Yeah.
I just played T-ball, right? But I only had like 9 minutes to play T-ball before this, and I did it. I got to make sure. I don't want to be that guy crying. I saw LT crying at his daughter's wedding because he was playing football and, messing around, doing whatever the hell he was doing. The way he cried is like, I don't even want to cry like that at one of my kids' wedding.
Hey, the best thing about Bud Light Seltzer is the brand new flavors are here. They have three great new flavors available in the new Remix VP to try this September. Grapefruit, which who doesn't love a grapefruit drink in the morning before you get on a plane, Bill?
I mean, that's just some old school Vegas stuff. That's the original Bloody Mary right there. That's for the guy who's going to have a drink and go hit the gym.
It's a good one to take on the golf course. A little grapefruit in the morning makes you feel like you're being healthy. Grapefruit burns calories also by itself.
I didn't know that.
Yep. They've got pineapple and cranberry, refreshing seltzer with natural ingredients.
Yeah, you can clean out your piss track as you're getting drunk.
Yeah, and not gain any weight because there's only 100 calories with less than 1 gram of sugar. Their 5-step filtration process for quality and taste and clean finish. It has this familiar Bud Light easy drinking name for those looking for an approachable brand with a wide hard seltzer category made from real cane sugar, Bill.
I just love how you're messing up this read and you're just trying to stress stuff to try to get back on track. Made with real cane sugar for a higher quality taste. It's the real stuff, not that shitty stuff. The good stuff.
Bud Light Seltzer is looking for its first ever chief meme officer because while they have delicious seltzer, their memes need some work. Job responsibilities include taste testing the product, making hilarious memes including verbal memes, and figuring out what rhymes with Bud Light Seltzer. What rhymes with Bud Light Seltzer, Bill?
Mud fight Weltzer. I don't know what that is. That's some crazy Weltzer. They call him Mud Fight Weltzer. He gets hammered and kicks your ass in the mud and a fuck a pig.
Go to Bud Light Seltzer. Go to Bud Light Seltzer, needsmemes.com to apply. Get it delivered right to your door or find a retailer near you at budlight.com/Bill Bert. Pick it up at your local neighborhood grocer, convenience, or liquor store.
Hey, and if it's good enough for Mud Fight Weltzer, it's good enough for you. All right, here we go. Now we got somebody advertising. We got booze on here. Now we're going with smokes. Yeah. Bert, this is their first time here. We want a big welcome to Thompson Cigars.
Ooh,
I don't know about you, Bert.
A cigar, Bill.
Dude, I love cigars. They wrote this copy like it says, "I love having a cigar to celebrate after a great show, set, podcast." Yeah, keep going. Laundry. Yeah. It helps me disconnect from the craziness of the world. Yeah, and the stuff in my head, too. I have a room in my house dedicated to smoking cigars. No, I don't. My wife, I will not let me smoke in the house. I go out on the porch.
I will say, Bill, there is no better feeling than smoking a cigar in your house when your family's gone for a weekend and going, yeah, this is my fucking house. It's 1935, and I'm a bachelor, and I do what I want.
I would love to do that. I got to get a smoke eater or something so they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Next, please mention as many of the talking points. I'll mention them all. I love cigars. Whether you're working from home or just kicking back after a week of being essential, there's no better way to relax than with a premium cigar. That is the truest thing I've ever said on this fucking podcast. And Thompson Cigar Company has the deals and selections to keep you occupied for hours on end. With over a century in the business, these guys really know their stuff. They've got the best prices on the biggest brands in the business. Oh, this is like a cigar hub, Bert.
I love it. From Macanudo to Monte
Macanudo. You started to say that boy band.
Menudo.
Macanudo to Monte Cristo. They have the largest selection. I'd love to smoke a Monte Cristo while eating one at Denny's. They have the largest selection of samplers online with the option to build your own every day in Thompson's 5-pack fever program, including over 300 different 5-pack options to mix and match. I think this is going to be a match made in heaven with this advertiser.
I think so too.
Looking to try new, rare, top-rated blends, but don't want to splurge on boxes? Yes. Check out Thompson's Cigar Tour. No, whenever I read Cigar Aficionado, they'll always have these things, but then I got to buy 20 of them. I'm like, what if I don't like them? I wish there was somebody that would just give me one with 4 others that I'd like to try. A smattering of 5 different blends delivered to your doorstep each month. They also send out insane cigar deals via email with personalized email preference options so you can sign up to receive them all or just the days you feel like getting them. You get
What I
the
love
deal.
about this, Bill, is that sometimes when you go to smoke a cigar, if you got your regular sticks in there, you're like, I want something different, but I forget what I got. It's so nice to go, I'm going to try this one today.
I already know. I have like 5 in my head that I would get. I already know. I had this Casa Magna one time.
Ooh.
Caligula, like the half a porn movie. One of the best, if you get a good box of those, man, they're insane. But if you got a bad box, you only got one, the other 4 are going to be the shit. So sit back and take a break from all the craziness with a cigar from Thompson Cigar Company. These guys rarely do offers, but now Thompson is offering our listeners 15% off over $75 or 20% off orders of over $100. To take advantage of these incredible savings, simply go to thomascigar.com. ThompsonCigar.com and use promo code Bill Bert. When you're ready to check out, that website is, let me spell it out because I said it wrong so many times. Sorry to Thompson Cigar. THOMPSON Cigar, CIGAR.com, and use the promo code, all caps, Bill Bert, BILLBERT.
And this promo code is only good for Bill Bert customers. They don't run promos otherwise, and this is only the second podcast they've ever advertised on. So they love you guys.
Nice.
Okay, leave that in. People need to know that.
I'll tell you, man, I have regrets, and one of my regrets is working as hard as I did during my kids' youth because I didn't have an option. You don't
providing a roof over their head, dude. You should never feel guilty about that.
It's funny, Bill. I'm sitting here in this hotel room. I'm quarantined, and I feel guilty that I took this job because I could just be with my kids. And not that I don't, it's like I could just be with my kids. And then out of nowhere, my daughter just FaceTimes me, my oldest. She goes, hey, did anything bad happen in the Bible? And I go, what? And she goes, anything bad happened in the Bible? And I go, yeah, they killed Jesus. She goes, okay. She goes, hey, New Testament and Old Testament, totally different books, right? I went, what are you doing? She goes, I'm taking a religion test. I know you're into that shit. So I was going to run it by you. And I just realized, I was like, oh, I got a cool relationship with this kid. Like, here I am feeling horrible. And then we're pissing, laughing, talking about the Bible because she knows nothing about religion. And we went through her whole test together, laughing hysterically. And then I was like, got out, went for a jog. I was like, all right, man, you get obsessed sometimes going, I didn't do enough. But
no, you're always going to feel, that you didn't do enough. But I will tell you, though, that I got a lot out of watching how hard my parents worked. Like, without them saying anything, just watching how hard they worked. Because they didn't make a big deal out of it, like, to me, that was working. So now, like, when people say, man, you're one of the hardest workers ever, I laugh. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't think that I'm doing what I saw my parents do.
Yeah,
they just got up every day and worked.
And I don't piss and moan about it. I go out to fucking work. I go on tour. I do a TV show.
That's a form of parenting.
Yeah. So wait, so that's Wednesday night. Now I'm curious because what's the like the pre-show ritual? Is there like a green room? Is there a pre-show like everyone's having cocktails, joking, and they're like, "Hey,
I ain't talking about the locker room here, Bert."
I want to know, but I want to know.
I'm only going to talk about the shit you've seen. If you want to talk after, like that's a sacred place.
No, I'm not saying like what did you guys talk about? I'm saying like, is there a green room set up? Are you guys hanging out before the show?
Listen, I don't know if Dave's on social media, but if he is, you can hit him up. Listen, dude, there's a lot of top secret shit to it. Yeah, so yeah. I don't want to, I can tell you.
I see what you're saying.
Who was on it, because people already tweeted about that. I can say, and you've seen the pictures that you've seen. I can describe that shit. But I don't want to talk about any of that other stuff too much. But I can just tell you it was fucking amazing. And we all hung out together. And batteries totally recharged.
Did you drink?
And it's as I already love Dave to hear. Now it's like I would, I could be in a foxhole with that guy.
Did you drink?
No.
Really?
Dude, I can't, dude. I can't. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to wake up, and I got 2 little ones.
Yeah. I thought that's when you have maybe a little nip, just a little.
I went out the first night, and I did the hang, and I paid for it. So like I did the hang Wednesday night and I did the hang Saturday night. But other than that, I was just like, dude, there's nothing better than 8 hours sleep at this point in my life. There's just nothing better than it.
Yeah.
Crawling into that bed, the big smile on my face, knowing that when they come and wake me up tomorrow, I'm going to have the energy, to get after it. We found, like, I did mostly dad shit. It was a great little playground downtown. Both days towards the end, because the first few days there was like nobody there, but the last 2 days I was there, there was other little kids there with masks on and stuff, and Lola and this other little boy were chasing each other all around, and me and the dad were both laughing. This guy was in the Air Force. There's no Air Force base nearby, and we were both just laughing, going like, our kids are doing both of us a favor right now. And sure enough, I got home with my daughter, and she was just crawled into bed with me, and she's just like, Dad, I'm gonna go to sleep for a second, and just like, and was just out. And I was just like, oh man, that's the best. And there was a dairy farm out there called like Jersey Farm. I guess Jersey's a kind of a cow. Dude, this ice cream, it was like heroin. It was that fresh. It was unbelievable. We went there, and you can feed the goats and see the cows and all of that. And the kids can sit on tractors. They got a miniature golf. They had a slide. A lot of that shit was closed, obviously, for obvious reasons. But like miniature golf was open. People had masks on, and they kept the threesomes and foursomes apart off the little course there. But I did a bunch of dad stuff, to be honest with you. And I kind of stayed away from a lot of the extracurricular stuff because I've done that. I've done that for 20. I did that when I should have already raised a kid. So I'm not going to
feel that way.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep doing that. And
that's smart.
Yeah, dude. And there's also like, I physically, I can't. I mean, I know I could get back in shape real quick, but I also know that I'm going to go right back to the way I drank. And I really had this whole fucking epiphany on my drinking and all that type of stuff, where I just think that there's a whole, this whole fucking thing where it's just like you're either this or you're that. You're either conservative or you're liberal. You're either fucking an alcohol. You're either addictive or you're not. There's like there's people a little more than going over the double line, on the double line, all the way over. There's people that could literally do heroin once, be like, yeah, man, that was amazing, but I know it's bad for me. I'm not going back. And then there's other people, they do it and they lose 30 years of their life, or they lose their life. And then there's everybody in between. And then I was hooked for 3 years. And then I dabbled. I've been away. There's like all of that type of stuff. And I think that that medicine is marketed the same way music is, where it's like your bluegrass, your rap, your rock, your this, your that. We need to label this so we can sell it. So I think my definition of addiction is if I'm doing something that I don't want to do, but I do it anyways, and then I hate myself afterwards, there's a problem that needs to be addressed there. There's something. Yeah. And that's everything from drinking to eating a sleeve of Oreo cookies before I go to bed. I don't want to do that. And when I get 3/4 of the way through, I want to stop, but I have that thing. I got to finish the job. I go Rambo on it.
So did Nia get to party at all, or was she straight up mommy duty the whole time, or?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing a lot of like going around town, looking at the antiques. I mean, I just had the best time, and having the best time doing that too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be like rage. I mean, yeah, we hung out, we had a good time, but Nia's always been smarter than me when it came to that stuff. Like, Nia can have a really nice drink, maybe two. She's good. Like, she really is an adult. And like, like I'm all like, whenever back in the day when we would go out and party, like my sleeve was the one getting tugged. Like, come on, buddy, let's go. You're having another one? And she's super cool too, because she never broke my balls about my drink until towards the end. And even then it was like, what's going on with you?
Does Nia have, like I think both me and you look at Chappelle like up here. Nia's got an interesting, because she was in the business, but like on the other side of the table, and she's also your wife. Does she look at Chappelle and go, have the reverence that we have, or someone like Kevin Hart, who like
No, they're
we've known
friends. They're friends. She worked
just
on
a friend.
No, she worked on Chappelle's show.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, she worked on it the first season. Then she went over to Tough Crowd. I got on Chappelle's second season, and then I got on Tough Crowd, and that's how I met her. She was the talent coordinator on Tough Crowd. I forget what she did on Chappelle's show, but she was part of that. Like, she was that very first sketch, all of that. She was.
Oh, wow.
She was there, yeah.
So she's kind of not past it, but there is no sparkle to celebrity to her at all.
No. That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, really?
Like there's just like, it's like anybody, like, for me, musicians, athletes that were the shit when I was a kid.
Yep.
Athletes now, I just think because there's such an age gap. You know what I mean? If they're like younger than Tom Brady, I mean, it's like there's like a major generation gap there as far as like how they grew up and how I grew up, and it's just like, I'm thrilled if they are into my stuff, but like I'm also so busy with the kids and stuff, and names got really difficult, especially like in hockey, with when all the Finnish and Russians and all these guys came in, like they have like big brain names, man. Like I can't. Yeah. You got to be watching every night. You got to keep hearing those names being said.
That's why I'm having a hard time with the NBA playoffs, because I think, I'm sure you've given an analogy this way, but like your heroes when you're a kid, like Bird, Jordan, Byron Scott.
Look at those names: Larry, Mike, Magic.
Yeah.
Daryl. They were easy names. And then what happened is names fall out of favor. And now they got all like these super cool. So I remember like the first time I was just like, wow, names have changed. I remember when Tayshaun Prince came in. I'm like, Tayshaun, that is a fucking great. Tayshaun Prince is you just sound like you just fucking hit a three. Right?
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, it got to the point where Key and Peele did that hilarious sketch on the names. And the thing is they could have done the white version of that about hockey, how like, the names just became like 26 letters, it seemed, like 4 consonants, hard sounding consonants, like CKNL vowels. And it's like, all right, which letter sound am I going to pick out here? So I was actually, what I'm actually thinking of doing, because I hate that I don't know the names, because this is how old I am. These kids today are doing amazing things. Yeah. Basketball, hockey, football, baseball. So I think I might play fantasy football this year if I have the time. I just would do it strictly how, back in the day, I used to collect football cards and watch the games, and I knew everybody. And then when I came back to try and collect football cards to get reconnected the way that I was, collecting cards had become this awful adult thing that you did to make money. And then everybody's an adult, so they had enough money to just go to Topps and order the whole year's worth of cards. So then Topps and all these ones, Upper Deck, they had to like deliberately make cards hard to get. Like they just didn't make as many of certain ones so that they would actually have value, because everybody saw like Billy Crystal's generation with their Mickey Mantle rookie card that they got for 5 cents or something is all of a sudden worth tens of thousands of dollars. I remember there was a comic, Mike Donovan, in Boston. There is a comic named Mike Donovan in Boston, and he used to do a bit for his generation. Remember that? And there was a thing, you would take those baseball cards and you put them in the spokes of your bike to make that flapping sound. Was considered like a cool thing. And they literally probably put $1 million worth of baseball cards, if they were in mint condition. Well, they were when they first got them, into their fucking bike wheels. And then somewhere in the 70s, those cards started going up. In the 70s and 80s is when it started to just become like, there was like creepy older people like myself buying them.
I remember going to baseball card shops in the 80s. And I remember my buddy Sam Sattin's dad had a legit collection.
That's a great name.
Sam Satin. What was his dad's name? Howard Satin.
That's an old time executive. Howard Satin gets a company car every year.
Howard Satin smelled good. He smelled good.
Howard
He was like,
Satin had bitches.
Sam Satin was a
You
great
got a new
athlete.
Lincoln Continental every year, and he had some bitches.
Yeah, it's but he had a legit baseball card collection, and if I'm not mistaken, he had a baseball signed by Babe Ruth. That can't be right. That can't be right.
People knew how to write. People knew how to sign back then. I don't
No,
know.
but I mean, now that I think about that, he probably would have sold that and lived in a mansion. I'm thinking, I remember it was in a chest in this. You'd walk in their house, and the closet right ahead, there was a chest, and all his baseball cards were in his chest. But so that's really amazing. And so, would you do something like what Chappelle's doing? Set something like that up in around LA if you could?
No, I mean, you could do something, but it would be different. It worked. The magic of it is where it is.
Yeah.
It's the whole experience. And I got to tell you something. I would absolutely love to take a couple of flight lessons out there in a helicopter. It just like, I mean, I know that they have to deal with severe weather out there sometimes. So obviously I would fly on a nice day, but just like all the places where if you had a problem that you could set it down out there was ridiculous, because out here you're picking a road and you got to deal with, there's always going to be some telephone wire, something coming across, which, for the most part, the blades would cut it, but you hope. But like just out there was just fields and just all of these places. And then it was also incredibly beautiful. But I would also think that it would be very easy to get lost out there, where LA is an easy city to fly over. Even before, if you've been remotely paying attention, even if you've just never flown before, where downtown LA is. You got the Hollywood sign, the observatory, you got the ocean. You got the Hollywood Bowl. There's all of these major landmarks. And I would just think that, if your GPS system was busted out there, that it'd be like you could get lost easily if you were a newbie and didn't know where you were.
Yeah.
But with the helicopter, you could just set it down, knock on a farmhouse, and ask for directions.
Yeah, I guess so. That's awesome. Would you go back out and do more shows out there? Or is it was just a cool one-time experience?
I absolutely would. But now I know where to eat. So, and then like I would, no, cause dude, I went out there and I just had all this pent up, just being locked up. And dude, I ate like a 7th grader when I was out there.
Really?
And then at night, Dave fed you like a king. So it was like, I was going to the local deli, getting a roast beef sandwich with chips and a root beer. I mean, this is like some shit that I would do after summer school, or if I had to stay after school or something, or summertime. I was eating like that. And but the gym, there was a club, a gym there. Somebody I know is going there. If he doesn't get sick, then I'm going to go. If I get asked again, I will go. And what I'll do is just do the treadmill. I should have asked Michelle what she'd been doing, because she's been there since March, and she looked great.
She runs like 13 miles a day. And
I saw her jogging one day, so I was like, that's what she's doing.
Yeah, she's a beast, man. Like, she is. First of all, she's absolutely fucking hilarious. Second, it doesn't fuck her up. It doesn't fuck her up. Like, some people when they're funny and they're young like that, and they just become broken and they're hard to be, or difficult to be around, or they don't have like a. I'll say that this is coming from my perspective, and I remember I didn't really get success until like 5 years ago. But like, sometimes you meet people like that when they're way more successful than you at a very young age, and they just kind of write you off. It's really I've seen it so much. And that's where I get empathy for like me and all my friends that didn't pop young, is they write you off, and you see that happen. And then when you get successful, they stop writing you off and they become nice to you again. And you're like, well, that's odd. That's who that person is. And then you'll see them do it to your friend who's booking the show, maybe who put them on the show. They'll write him off, and you'll be like, well, that's for them. Michelle Wolf is not that fucking person, which is so impressive in this business, to find someone who will give you, this is how I shoot right like this. I'm gonna treat you like this. And if you're Dave Chappelle, I'm treating you like that. If you're Bert Kreischer, I'm treating you like that. If you're Joe Rogan, I'm treating you like that. If you're, you know what I mean? It's really.
Well, I'm amazed that because people who do that are like trying to streamline their way to where they want to be. So there's an element of being a shrewd business person, but you would think that would, you at least, even if you weren't that person, you'd be smart enough to pretend to be that person.
Yeah,
so,
dude. Let me tell you something, Bill.
Because what happens, you go up, you come back down again, and then there's nothing to it. Is that person you think isn't shit, you know, one of them is going to blow by everybody. And then, like, you're going to be that person that treat him like a jerk. Like, I mean, I don't know what kind of reputation I have, but like me, I've always been like antisocial. Like, I sit at a party and I could sit right in the middle of it and not talk to anybody and be totally having a good time. Yeah. It's weird. I'm like, I noticed that about myself, that I just sort of gravitate towards the corners.
I'll tell you right now, I've tried to articulate this, and it's very difficult, and not everyone's going to get to have my experience. My experience is extremely unique in this business, and it's called survivor's remorse. So what happened was, you know, I feel like I had some good energy young in my career, and then towards the end of my Travel Channel run, right when I was about to get fired, I was kind of going nowhere. And I've talked about this a lot, but I remember you and Burr, you and Rogan sitting me in the green room at the store saying, just get away from Travel Channel, man. Do your show, do your podcast. You're too funny. Do a special. You're wasting your time. But what's interesting is in that period of time that you guys talked to me, and then a little bit after, when, you know, you got to see the type of people really are. I'll use Sam Tripoli as an example because he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, but I know. Yeah, like when you're laying in the gutter, yeah, you find out who your friends are.
Find out who your friends are, and you, Rogan, Ari, Segura, Joey, you find certain people look over your shoulder when you're not important. And then all of a sudden, when I popped and I started selling tickets to theaters and adding shows to theaters, it's amazing to watch that eye line go right back to your eyes. And they're like, all of a sudden, you're important to them.
And I made it again.
I made it, and it's weird. It's hard because
I said that to one of them, grabbed by the shoulder. Oh my God, are you looking me in the eye? Hey, I made it. So and so is actually.
It's
dude,
amazing.
You know what's funny about those people is they don't think that they notice when it's like they're in a music studio and they're bringing the fader up and bringing it down. They don't think that they notice that they brought it down and brought it back up. They don't think that you noticed that they did that.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you don't want to say anything because you like the attention of people, but like I remember there was a period of time where I remember before Secret Time came out, and by the way, Secret Time was like the special that kind of helped me go over. You'd be talking to someone in the hallway and they would literally leave you mid-conversation and just walk to someone else, and you'd be like, I guess we're done. And you can't get
that happened to me in the laundromat out in Yellow Springs.
But it's one of the things that I respect about, like, that I look about, and I hate to hang my hat on this episode about the Chappelle thing, is that Chappelle does not seem to have that. He seems to be very grounded, and I don't know if it's he moved to Ohio or whatever, but he seems like he's surrounding himself with the legit people he likes. Michelle Wolf, Mo Amer, Donnell Rollins, you know, Common. It really seems like to be a really cool way to do this business.
Yeah, no, he definitely, you know, people that can do that, you know, I mean, I guess I could do it at some level, but like, I don't know. My family really likes it out here, you know, and I don't know, but I will tell you, I was very envious of people that lived out there. Every time I saw an old pickup drive by, I saw people on motorcycles. I saw people towing boats in RVs. And I was joking about it on my podcast about how, these people that make fun of flyover states. It's like, you don't understand the kind of fun that you can have out there. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, it looks like Eden. After you live in LA and it's on fucking fire, and you go out and this place is all green, and they have a dairy where they like make the ice cream right there, and it's like, I can't even tell you. I went out and I got a vanilla shake, the most bland flavor ever, because I'm gonna see like, all right, I'm not gonna let you hit me with Oreo cookie or anything. Yeah. I'm gonna strip this thing down to the fucking floorboards and let's see if you can wow me. And dude, it was the best vanilla shake I've had. I can't even remember. And there's a place, back when I was a kid, where I grew up, that was a farm once again, and they made, it's the best ice cream I've had since going to that place. But like, that's my thing, dude. If I go to get a pizza, first place time I go order a margarita. You're not gonna fool me with your toppings. And if I go to get like a milkshake, I go vanilla. You can wow me with the vanilla.
You realize how aggressive of a patron you are? You're not going to fucking trick me. I want to see how you do it your best.
Well, they always say with chefs. With chefs, they say scramble an egg. It's something really simple, but it's really like a difficult, like there's an art, or I think it's an omelet or an egg or something. That's the first thing that they do. They want to see how you do that. And how you do that informs their belief in what else, what they want you to do, whether they think that you're ready for the job or not.
Did you and Nia ever have that moment on that trip where you were like, hey, let's just Zillow a house, see what we could get out here?
Oh, yeah. Probably 4 times a day. I just know that, how my wife is, like, she's like super smart and really creative. Mm-hmm. And she would go nuts.
Yeah.
So same way I would go nuts, but I'd get to leave and like, hey, I'm in Nashville. I'm doing Atlanta.
I wouldn't go nuts. Motorcycles, dude, when you said Dave's motorcycle collection, I was like, how much fun is a motorcycle on an Ohio state road? Just
in the middle
hills.
Of nowhere? No, because my thing is I like the Harley Road King with no bags, stripped down with the white wall tires. That's what I want. I'm not a speed guy. At some point, as an American, I have to ride one in the middle of nowhere on a country road. Like, that's a bucket list thing that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But like, I was out here, I had a Triumph Bonneville. I had it for like 6 weeks, and somebody almost took my fucking head off. And I got off the bike. I was like shaking. I was like, fuck this. All I kept thinking was, I'm going to lose my leg. And I wasn't even thinking about stand up. I was thinking about playing drums and how much I was like, I need my legs.
Dave's, you don't have to go into detail. Just give me an analogy. Give me some sort of fulfillment in this. Dave's motorcycles.
He has superb taste.
Really?
Excellent taste.
Now
I'm not going to MTV crib somebody else's fucking house.
No. As a motorcycle guy, because I know that I've seen what he rides on Instagram, and I ran into him in Dayton one time, and I saw what he rides. Is it an eclectic motorcycle collection, or is it pretty much same?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about, like, I was in the guy's house. I'm not going to start describing what's in the guy's house.
Okay. His children, their hairstyles. Now, I want to know.
Dude, you're like a lawyer. Objection. Strike that. Let me reframe the question.
You got to realize, man, it's the weirdest time in comedy, and he is doing the most unique.
Right. Listen, if you stop acting like a fan right now and act like a comic, you're going to get the gig.
I'm not going. I can't keep any of that shit secret. Are you fucking kidding me? I'll end up slipping up on the one thing that he cares about, and I'll be like, no, man, he's got great weed. He's like, don't talk about the fucking weed. No, I would love to go. I think every comic would
should go. It would be great. It's just like,
I've never even met him.
How many more they're doing?
I met him one time, but I don't think he didn't know who I was. But I've never even met him.
Oh, all right. Well,
I don't think I'm gonna get an invite to like, hey, Bert, I'd love to meet you at my house. Hey, can you come out and spend a weekend with me? I don't know who you are, but I bet we get along pretty good. Hey, you're the guy that takes your shirt off, right?
You know what? Yeah, this is all like, you got low self-esteem, Bert.
That's why I'm a comedian, Bill.
You got to put. I know, but so do I. But you got, like, as Patrice told me a long time ago, saying when I was going to do that bus gig, he's like, Bill, you got to put a value on what the fuck it is that you do, because you sort of get, like, that institutionalized, or like prison. That happens in show business.
Yeah.
I think I already talked about this maybe in last podcast, where you're just so happy to get stage time.
Yeah.
I'll clean the bathrooms. I'll wash dishes. I'll drive for 5 fucking hours, that you forget after a while that, like, you're now a comedian.
No, I've turned a corner with my self-esteem. I think this tour, this past tour that we did was really it was really awesome to do. And I think watching everyone else go out and start doing.
I know when you get insecure.
What? You know when I get insecure?
I know what your tics are. I know what you do.
Tell me. I'm dying to hear it.
What you do is you ramp up your personality. You bird it up. When you start being like right now, you're being Bert.
I'm Bert right now, yes.
But when I'm seeing, like, is there a camera on? Then I'm like, oh, Bert doesn't feel worthy of this opportunity, of the situation he's in, of talking to this person. And then you bird it up.
Yep.
And you're going to be the guy with the lampshade on your head. You're going to do something fucking, and and what's funny is you put yourself in this mascot position when you're actually a peer. So you got to be careful with that, because then people will view you the exact opposite way that you want. You want to get in because they like you.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you have that where you see those people looking at you and then looking away and then looking back. But, like, you don't want to be like the little chihuahua that's got to come over and do a fucking front flip. Yeah. I told you can do it. Come on in and have a shot. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, dude. You just go, yeah. Yeah, dude. Listen, I have my tics too, dude. I talk myself out of a lot of shit. I do. And I say it's bullshit. I just want to tell my jokes and blah, 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 and all this type of shit. And now I have to step back and be like, am I saying that's bullshit because it is bullshit? Because it is some stupid Hollywood shit? Or am I afraid of it?
Yeah. I've never been good with celebrities. It's never been my, like, comfort zone. And I think it's because back to when I was a kid, celebrity.
Is that why you do a podcast with me?
I remember meeting Garo Yepremian and being like,
oh shit,
I'm floored that I was like, that this is a real man and he's right here. And he shook my hand, and I shook the hand of a guy who goes on the field at Buck Stadium. Like, I remember being amazed, meeting, like, James Giles or Leroy Selman, and just being like, that's the guy that does it.
Oh, yeah. I would still, to this day, I would still be like that.
I think I've gotten a lot better. I don't see celebrity. I don't put a value on it the way I used to, but there's a person that I'm going to meet Friday that I'm working with that I'm like one of the biggest fans of. And I have actually, it's so funny you say that, Bill. I've been laying in bed in this quarantine going, like, how do I make sure that I'm me and not, like, I don't want to put on, hey, I don't care, because I do, but I don't want to put on, like, I'm this guy, because I'm not.
You don't have to figure it out on this time. Just work on it. And then gradually you'll just work on, it's like getting comfortable on stage. You have to get comfortable in that social situation. It's like, all you got to do if you want to get better at something is allow yourself, like, all right, I'm going to fuck this up, but hopefully I don't fuck it up as much as I fucked it up the last time. And then you just start from there, as opposed to being like, I have to hit the water, toes curled, no splash.
You got my brain perfect.
I got a Greg Louganis this shit, and it's just like, it ain't going to happen.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Greg Louganis, by the way.
Hates my guts.
Huh?
He hates my guts.
Dude, Greg Louganis, I don't know how he doesn't like you, but Greg Louganis is the only diver I ever saw that made me love diving.
Oh, yeah.
He was just like, he is the Jordan. Like, I just never, it was like Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing. Like, it's the greatest swing I ever saw, but he was diving. I remember one time he just, like, jumped up in the air, touched his toes and went back and went into the water. It was the most amazing thing. It looked like he could fly.
Yeah, Greg Louganis.
What the fuck did you do to Greg Louganis?
It's a long story. The
That sounds like some morning radio shit.
No. It was a TV show, and I was flirting with him, and then as a joke on the TV show, because it was a TV show, and then he found out that I was straight, and he got upset, and I was like, "Are you being serious?" And so I don't know. It's a lot longer.
Well, he kind of went through a lot of shit.
Yeah,
like, He was gay when it wasn't cool to be gay.
He got AIDS when it wasn't, or HIV when it wasn't cool to get HIV. Not saying it got cool, but like he got it.
There was a death sentence.
Yeah, when it was a death sentence, and everyone was like, "Oh, I guess that's it." And then, and then I was just saying to someone, you know, with COVID, which is an interesting thing, or the novel coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. We did this big tour, and we all just got tested. I just got tested 2 minutes ago, or an hour ago, right before this started. I got tested. For COVID.
Oh, said, what are you guys doing out there?
What's interesting is, I was saying to the crew I was with, the comics and all the production that we were touring with, this tour is only successful if all of us test negative, because the second someone tests positive, there is a whole, like with comics, there's a big group of comics that are awesome people that love laughing, that love comedy, that love the scene, that love all of it, like the Chappelles, Tony Woods, Donna, like that scene. And then there's this underlying group of like people going, if I got COVID, they go, yeah, you fucking deserve it because you were out there trying to tour. Fuck you, that's what you get. I hope you die. Like, and you're like, what the fuck? So I was saying to these guys, I was so strict. So I was like, yo, we have to come back testing negative, or it's the perils are with cancel culture are so high of people wanting to get a reason to drag you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that's cancel culture is it's really just going to be some chicken little shit.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I just feel like that once it went to like Ellen was mean to me. I mean, then it's just like, oh my God. And then what I loved was people were like just taking their lives out on her. People who never worked with her, they sounded like they worked for her for 30 years. And if she was doing half the shit, she just did it to them specifically. It's like, how can you be this emotionally? This isn't about this.
Yeah.
This is about something else that's going on in your fucking life. There's no way you're this mad at somebody that you never met and never worked for.
Oh, there was a video that went viral which is so interesting. I saw this last night, and it was this woman. There was a boba shop, I guess, or a Chinese Asian. Do you know what I'm talking about, Andrew? It was an Asian.
I thought you immediately knew I would know what the fuck it was. Then you went to Andrew.
Well, no, he started nodding his head. It was an Asian tea house called the Trap Tea, or Tea Trap, Trap Tea. And
I immediately pictured them in there making T-shirts. I think they meant tea like they make cool T-shirts.
No, they're making tea and boba tea, which is like a Eastern, it's a South Indian type tea or whatever. Anyway,
vagina.
This
sound like Ron Burgundy right now.
This black woman came in with her camera and started filming immediately and said, "Is this black owned? Is this black owned?" And
She actually ordered, and then she
left.
Order
came back in and started filming. Is this black owned? Is this black owned? Is this cultural appropriation? This is cultural appropriation. This is because trap house is where you sell drugs in hip hop culture. I wouldn't say black culture, but like in hip hop community. And what's interesting
Tell me about the hood, Bert.
I listen to a lot of T.I. Trust me, I know. And so what I was stuck with was the amount of anger that resided in this woman is the issue at hand, is that someone would order a tea and then all of a sudden, like the most innocuous drink, the most relaxing drink, and then go from 0 to 100 to the point where she's calling another black man a racial slur.
He was Asian.
He was the black guy.
Line, yes, she called.
Yeah, she starts yelling at this black guy, and it's got so aggressive that I thought, that's our issue, is that this woman, people are walking around with rage in their hearts, like rage, waiting to fucking let go on someone, and you're like, fuck that. Like, I got to get away from that. And I think it's Twitter. I think it's social media. I think it's all of it. But I don't know. That's going to be hard to shake. I think cancel culture is going to disappear, but there's still going to be rage and anger in people's hearts. I don't know how to get rid of that.
What it's going to be is it's going to get made fun of. It's like anything that's in eventually becomes trite or passe, whatever the expression is. And then it's just, having giant collars and platform shoes was in.
How did McCarthyism?
Remember the low five? That was in.
But this is different. How did McCarthyism die out?
What's his face said, "Have you no shame?" Was the one. Oh my God, I can always remember the guy's name, and I finally can't. Edward R. Murrow brought him on, and he said something to the effect of, "Have you no shame?"
And that was the end of McCarthyism?
It's now, after it all is over, they say, and like the way it was told to me, then I watched and it just didn't seem as epic as they made it sound. But like, I think that was the thing that turned it, because he said what a lot of people were saying. I think he was the first one going, like, basically, like, you are destroying people's lives on accusations. And that is literally what is happening now. And it's bad enough that people are doing it, but watching comedians co-signing on shit where they weren't there, and something could have happened, something could not have happened. But the fact that they're sitting there throwing gas on that fire, and so many times throwing the gas on that fire, they also criticize their act, which is always a red flag to me, being like, now, wait a minute. Are you doing this because you believe this story, or are you, you don't like this person as a comedian, and you're happy that something's happening? There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, you have to work at, in any business that you're in, to not get negative, to not get bitter, to not resent somebody else having a better day, a better set, a better career than you. And it's like, it's such like that's like that epiphany I came to, that like, what a waste of energy not being patient is. Yeah. It never makes the thing come quicker. It usually makes me break something or fuck something up or make a bad decision, which makes whatever I wanted delayed or maybe not even happen. And I don't know, it's weird. Like, certain people, they get to, this is what I think there's a fork in the road with getting older. And you either go down a road where you're like, I don't know shit, and I need to work on myself, or you go down that awful road of, I know everything, and let me tell you something. This is how the world should be. This is who you should vote for. This is how people should act in every single situation. And you just start wagging your finger at people. All of it is so stupid. So fucking stupid. Is like, with some of that shit, they keep going after fucking John Wayne. The guy's been dead for 40 years. About that fucking airport that's named after him. But then, I read this thing on Coco Chanel. And she was a Nazi sympathizer in France. It's like, well, why don't you stop buying her fucking purses then?
You see they changed the name of Squaw Valley?
Well, what's that?
Squaw Valley is a popular, I think, ski resort. And this Native American woman.
I don't have a problem with redskins and mascots.
No. The big thing with Squaw Valley is they were saying it's a slur towards women, but the definition technically is wife. And then you look at, like, I'm looking at people fighting online.
Well, I think it then becomes how it was interpreted by white people.
No, but my point is, I'm looking at people fight online, and it's a bunch of people that will never go skiing there. that are like heels in the sand going, how dare you change that name? And then other people going, I find that offensive. I'm like, by the way, just change. Who gives a fuck? None of you are going to afford skiing in this fucking valley. I know. It's expensive as shit. It's overpriced. Fucking who gives a fuck? It's like, if it ruins someone's day to hear something, change it. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I know. And then also, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on that shit just because there's nothing really out there. That's I don't have that experience, so I have no idea. And
nothing trips me up, really.
Yeah, enough fucking people are bothered by it, and the argument makes sense. Like, I don't give a shit It's just like, I still wish it was called the Pan Am Building. They changed it to MetLife. Oh, does that burn me up, Bert? That's as deep as I go.
How many more days of quarantine do you have left?
I just started. I just got back.
Okay. Well,
what I'm doing is I'm going to get tested, make sure I'm okay, and then and then we're all right. So
I get out tomorrow morning. If the test I just came back gets negative, I get to walk out of my hotel room tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't wait.
Awesome. Have you been watching any of the playoffs, dude? My favorite fucking thing last night, I was watching the Bruins versus your boys, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
So series like 1-0. Tampa Bay is always great. I kind of had a feeling like last night was going to be their night, but we scored a late one. They ended up beating us in overtime. It was a great fucking game. But they scored the equalizer to make it 1-1. And it was just one of these things where they were doing a change and this guy didn't skate hard enough back to the bench and he was still in our zone and Tampa was offsides, but it had nothing to do with the goal.
Yeah.
But Cassidy, our coach, challenged it. They're showing the replay. And Tampa's coach knows it's going to get called back. And when they told him that it was no goal or whatever, dude, he said, "You fucking cunts," like fucking 9 times in a row. And they kept showing him. It was clear as day. He was going, "Oh, you fucking cunt. You fucking cunts." He just kept saying it. I was dying because it was the perfect word because it was such a cunt. He should have been yelling it at Cassidy.
Yeah.
Because the refs were like, because the refs didn't call it offside. Cassidy challenged it, and then they looked at it. He was just yelling at the wrong person. Because they were the messenger. I mean, it's got to be up there. Somebody must have put a clip on it. It's so clear as day. Like, he's yelling it so loud. It's like, if you were deaf your first day, you could have read this guy's fucking lips. He goes, you fucking cunts. You fucking cunts. And he was really getting into it. I loved it. It was really cathartic.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and they played it. They're a really good team, man. So I'm really into it. And tonight they got the Flyers are playing Game 2 against the Islanders, and all these Flyer fans, meaning 3, were talking shit because they were the number 1 seed. When the Bruins came back, we didn't win a game in the little round robin thing, and Flyers went undefeated. And they handled the Canadians pretty easy. They got their asses kicked on one game, like 5-0, and then they just closed out the series. And but this first game, like, the Islanders are scary. And they came in and just fucking mopped the floor with them. Shut them out. I think it was like 4-0, 5-0. I might be combining series. I might have the score wrong. But like so tonight is like such a huge game. I just love that sports are back.
Yeah.
And like when my team's not in it, other than the Canadians, I'll root against the Canadians. But like, as much as, Flyer fans can be cunty, they're funny. And I want to see 7 games. So tonight I'm hoping that they're going to win.
Is that Flyers?
Islanders, dude. Great series.
Flyers, Islanders?
Well, I mean, it should be a great series.
Yeah.
Because the Islanders are like, ridiculously talented. They got the coach from fucking the Capitals that won it a few years ago, I believe. And then the Flyers were the number 1 seed. So it's a really good matchup. And then as a Bruins fan, I'm psyched that one of those teams is going to get knocked out. But our goalie just said, "I'm not playing." He's got a kid on the way, or had the kids. Like, I'm not going to play in front of no fans. This is bullshit. So he said, fuck it. So we got this dude Halak in there. And he's been pretty solid. He had should have had a shutout one game, made a bonehead move trying to clear it out, and the guy just knocked it out of the air, put it in the net. And then last night on a breakaway, I thought they went 5-hole on one, which there's always one that you wish you could have back. But I'm really happy with him. I think he's a solid dude.
Well, now I got something to do tonight. I'll watch that. And I'm also doing fantasy football this fall. That will be a blast.
How much of my week has to be taken up by doing that?
None?
0.
It's fucking awesome. I'll tell you what, man, you were talking about doing laundry. My biggest, the thing I miss the most about doing clubs is Sunday, doing laundry, organizing my backpack, organizing my suitcase. Because I knew none of those clothes were coming out because I had a weekend the next weekend. So I organized everything, watched everything, have fantasy football on my computer, have it on my iPad, and watching the games. It was the greatest, man. I missed that.
It's the best. Little afternoon cigar after that, forget about it. Well, then you stink again. But I just think, yeah, I really miss. I like what I got to experience this past weekend of just going out there, making people laugh, hearing other comics laughing.
Yeah.
And then just seeing all those other artists doing all the stuff that they do, like.
And just
I forget the guy's name. There was so many people. There was this guy doing poetry. I mean, this fucking guy. Like, I've never felt like I don't want to follow a poet. This guy was like murdering and took him on this whole emotional ride. Like afterwards, people were just like, wow, what the fuck? And then I'm gonna come up there, waka waka waka. Ba-da-da-doo, yada-da-dee. So
well, great, man. I think we did a great episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that was effortless, man. I think it cruised right along.
By the way, go to Chappelle's every week. I'm really impressed with that. I can't look. The thing I got to say is that
call me up, dude, and I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Don't worry, Bill. I will.
You got a big fucking mouth, dude.
Hey, listen, I can keep good secrets when it comes to shit like that. The thing I feel
no eye contact when you made that statement.
Bill,
like, I can keep good secrets.
Any secret. I've kept a lot of secrets about you that you're like you and Rogan are number 1, number 2 secret guys. Like you guys, I call my fucking special secret time. I'm a bad guy.
I pride myself when somebody tells me don't tell anybody. I won't even tell my wife. I don't say shit.
I don't say a word. I don't say a word about stuff.
And I really think that somebody's private life is their private life. And I really think if somebody says this is a secret, don't tell anybody. Yeah. Like the trust that they're putting in you because they need to get it off their chest. They have because it's bothering them, and they're going to you to find some sort of a moment of peace, and you betray that. You fucking betray that when you go out and tell somebody else. It's a bitch move.
Yeah, I'm good at keeping secrets. I'm not good at like things I don't know are secrets. I'm not good like
Oh, there's a little wiggle room right there. You're a little corporation, aren't you? You just wiggled right out of that.
For a fact, if you give me the address of your house, I'm Zillowing it immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm just regular, bro. So it's the thing I love about getting to do this job.
I'm just down to earth, man. I can't keep my fucking mouth shut.
I am as regular as any other motherfucker watching this.
You're not.
I am just as regular. I'm excited. When you said I'm at Chappelle's, I got so excited. I didn't tell a fucking soul. And I was like, I hope he wants to talk about this.
Bert, can I tell you something?
Yes.
This is something that's going on right now. Like, you don't give yourself compliments. People observe your behavior, and they give you the compliment.
No one's...
I'm woke. I'm not a Karen. I'm regular. I mean... It's just everybody's just bestowing these. They're just giving themselves stripes and they're moving up in ranks as far as like, it's like, no, other people will tell you if you're a good shit or not.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Bert, you got loose lips.
I got loose lips. If anyone's got them, it's me. That's a good name for a podcast, by the way. Loose Lips with Bert Kreischer.
Or a special.
Ooh, I like that.
Loose lips.
All right, let's wrap this up. I'm going to go
Loose
for a
lips
jog.
would be great if you told a bunch of pussy stories about a bunch of whores that you weren't supposed to talk about. That works on 2 different levels.
That's a great fucking podcast of just someone who just every chick he fucks.
Pussy stories. Nothing but pussy stories. I don't know what kind of advertising you get. Loose Lips with Bert Kreischer. What's the biggest pussy you ever encountered?
Oh, that's a good fucking...
There you go.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you had a good time at Chappelle's. I think that's so fucking awesome.
I had a great time. Yeah, any of that fucking locker room shit you want to know. You're a fellow comic, but you got a big mouth.
I won't tell anything.
All right, everybody. This has been another wonderful episode of The Bill Pod.